Hey everybody, Garcia here. Today I'm taking a look at a trick-taking game which uses both cards and dice. This is Nokosu dice. In this game, the players are going to be dealt a hand of cards and they are going to be drafting some dice from the middle of the table. And then they're going to play a fairly straightforward trick-taking game in which they can play cards to lead or follow a suit having been played, or they can use those dice they have in front of them to basically represent a card. You have a green die showing 5. It's like a green 5 card in your hand. You are going to play a few rounds of that. You're going to score some victory points. And of course, whoever has the most of those is going to be the winner of the game. A little bit quirky, an interesting concept. Let's go ahead and take a look at how this works. We'll come on back after that, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Here we're taking a look at the game for 4 players. The game is going to be played over 4 rounds, and each round is made up of 14 tricks. So at the beginning of each of those rounds, we're going to shuffle up the deck of cards. Everyone gets 10 cards, so we deal out the entire deck. And then everyone is going to put all the, we're going to put all the dice in the bag, and everyone will draw 2 of them and roll them in front of themselves. And those are their first 2 dice. So we'll do that for each player here. And then once this is done, we are going to draft a few more dice from a common pool. So we're going to pull out 13 dice. We got 4 there. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we take all these, we roll them into the middle, and then from whoever the dealer is, we'll just basically go around drafting these until everyone has taken another 3, and there will be 1 die left over in the middle. So this player might take that die, this player over here might take this one, and so this continues all the way around the table. I'm not going to worry too much about what the players are actually taking, and obviously I'm moving them. That shouldn't happen. But basically this is the deal until all the players have done that, and then 1 is left over in the middle, like so. Now this die left over in the middle is going to determine what trump is in the game. In this case, yellow and 5s are trump. And we'll come back to trump in just a little bit. Now that that's done, the player after the dealer, let's say this was our dealer here, the player after the dealer is going to begin the game. And they are going to lead a card, and then the players are going to follow suit. Now, one thing to note here is that the dice in front of you behave exactly like cards in your hand. So, for example, this is a blue 6. This is a blue 6. Those 2 things are the exact same thing. And so if I want to begin a trick by playing a blue 6, I can do it by doing this. I could do it by playing that. All right? You are going to have to follow suit. So let me go ahead and play this purple 4 over here. This player is going to go. They're going to take a look at their hand. They definitely have purple. And so they are going to play this purple 6 there. And then this player will go. And they have a purple 7 in their hand. Maybe they want to try to win, so they'll play that purple 7 there. And then this player will go. And this player has a single purple card, no purple dice. So this is the only choice they can make. Once that's done, we check out which one's the strongest. There is no trump. There are no 5s. There is no yellow. And so it's simply the strongest thing played. In this case, that one was the strongest thing played. That player is going to take these 4. They've won 1 trick, and they lead a new thing. Now, if that player instead had played this purple 6 die, they still would win because these 2 are tied, and that 6 came after this one. So later is stronger if there is a tie, all right? But this is what they played. So that's done. We pick these up, set them aside somewhere where they can be counted, the number of tricks, and that player is going to play a new thing, okay? From their hand, going around the table, same thing. Now let me explain how scoring is going to work, and then I'll explain how trump in this game works because it's slightly tricky, okay? So scoring goes like this. Everyone is going to play everything they have except for 1 die in front of them. So I will have 14 tricks I've played. I begin with 10 cards and 5 dice. So I'll play all my cards and 4 of the 5 dice. At the end of the game, you're going to get 1 point for every trick you took. So that player's got 1 point already. And then you're going to get a bonus number of victory points if the die you kept back matches the number of tricks you took. And the amount of points for that is based on how many players were able to actually pull that off to take the number of tricks matching the die they kept. If you're the only one who did it, you get a bonus 30 points. Now, if 2 players did it, they each get 20. And if 3 players did it, they each get 10 points. If everybody was able to pull that off, there are no bonus points, and so you just score the number of tricks you took, and that's all there is to it, all right? There's also an option in this game for you to, after you've seen your dice, seen your cards, say you are going to take no tricks at all. So you would, flip this over to let people know you're doing that, and you would take one of your dice immediately and get rid of it to denote that you're not going to keep any, and after you've played 14 tricks, indeed, you will have no die in front of you. If you took no tricks at all, then you qualify as having reached what you said you would do. And so if I took no tricks at all, this player said they would take 4, and indeed they took 4, these 2 were off, then we're each going to get 20 points. And if you did the no tricks thing and you pulled it off, you even get another 10 victory points. So that player will get bonus 20, bonus 30 for having done that. All right? So there you go. That's all the scoring. And like I said, 4 rounds. So 14 tricks, 4 times. All right? So Trump, let's talk about that. In this game, like I said, all yellows are Trump, 5s are Trump. And they are ranked. So a 5 yellow would be the strongest Trump there is at the table. And so if someone leads any kind of Trump, everyone has to follow it. And the strongest is 5 yellow. After that, strongest is the number 5. And after that, yellow. So it's sort of tiered Trump suits. Let's take a look. That's the strongest thing there is. After that, it would be the number. So that's Trump. Let's find another one. This is Trump. These are the same strength. And then after that, any yellow, right? So that yellow. If you're just at color, then the number is better. A 6 would be better than a 4. And then another yellow. Let me find one. This 3 would then be slightly worse than the 4, which is slightly worse than the 6. So there you go. You need to remember then that if someone leads purple, your purple 5 that you are holding is not, you can't play it to follow purple suit. It's a Trump. And so if this player, going back to our example here that we had a little bit ago, let's go ahead and just hand some of these back. If this player over here had played that to lead a trick, and I have a 5 in purple, that's not following suit. If I have any other purple, in fact, I'd have to play it. So, I play this, and this player has no purple at all, so they can play anything they want to. They might just slough off that card there. Now, this player over here cannot play this, because it's Trump, if they have any other purple in their hand. So right now, they have to play that. Even though they have 1, 2, 3 of these purple 5s, those are Trump cards, first and foremost. All right? So that's basically that. You play, like I said, 4 times. You see who the winner is at the end of those 4 rounds. And that's going to be whoever has the most points. There is a 3-player variant for this, where you remove some of the cards. They no longer go up to 7, which normally they go 0 through 7. And you just basically play a little bit of a truncated version of this same idea here. But really, it's basically a 4-player game. Hopefully, that's enough of an explanation for you to grasp and sort of understand what is going on here with this quirky trick-taking game. Let's go back up top. Let me tell you what I think about this one. All right, so there it is. This is a clever and quirky little game. It's very interesting. I'm a big fan of trick-taking games. I should begin there and let you know that I like the genre as a whole. Though I do prefer games of that style that aren't too outside the box, too many weird rules, and that are not too long. I think some trick-taking games definitely outstay their welcome, forcing you to play to 300 points, but each hand is only a few points, things of that nature. I think this one skirts most of those things. It's pretty quirky, but the quirks really do feed back into interest in the game. So let's break it down. All right, I'm going to start with the things I thought were just okay. No big thumbs up here. Just a couple of things that are just middle of the road, really. The thematic ties, first off the bat, it's really abstract. Doesn't need a theme, and I think it's fine. No big thumbs up here, but I'm also not hammering it for that. It's fine. The aesthetics. I think the game has a clean look. I'm very happy with the look of the game, but there's so few components in the box, I kind of wish they were better. So the card quality is okay. Dice are okay. There's no scoring pad, which would have been a nice touch. The bag is nice. They do give you a bag from which to pull out the dice and roll and then draft them. But overall, components are fine. And then ease of play. The game definitely has some quirks. And there are no player aids in the game, which might have been a good idea also. So if you're a trick-taking fan already and you kind of understand some of these concepts from other games, like the tiered trump and all that, then it's going to be a little bit more smooth for you. But it is quirky, and it might take sort of wrapping your head around. Some of the folks I saw playing this, some of the people that played just had a hard time really understanding the whole, like, a 5 in red, while fives are trump, like a yellow 5 is trump. That red 5 is not red, it's trump, right? So that takes some getting used to, I think, for a lot of folks. Other than that, everything else gets a big thumbs up from me. The replayability, it's very nice. Now, the game only plays 3 or 4, and I do think it's better with 4. You want the full complement. But it's fine. A lot of trick-taking games do that. It's not a big deal. It kind of comes with the territory for a lot of trick-taking games. And the interest, the evolution of the game, the things you discover while you are playing. There's a lot of light bulb moments in this game. And I think that's going to help the replayability. The game length is good. The game's not short. It's not a really short trick-taking game, but it does not outstay its welcome, I would say. You play 4 rounds with 4 players. The whole game takes about, let's say, 45 minutes, right? And that's fine. That's a solid amount of time. That's enough to get into, to discover the game, to have ups and downs, a bad round and then a good round, without dragging on forever, like a lot of games in this style tend to fall into, that trap. And then lastly, tactics and strategy and luck. It's really cool. You're dealt a hand of cards. That's random, right? Like every trick-taking game just about. And then you draft the dice, and that's got a lot to it. Because you're picking the color you're taking. You are leaving some colors specifically and numbers specifically, hoping that they become trump, possibly. You are also taking different numbers as you are drafting dice. So if you have a spread of numbers, you might have a better chance of nailing the number of tricks you took to the die face that you kept, right? There's a lot of little levels. It's a fairly subtle game, but there's a lot to consider. You also have to be careful that someone doesn't force you to follow suit with a die you're hoping to keep to score the number of tricks you took. If you've got a 5, you're almost at 5 tricks, but that die is blue and it's your last blue, you might be forced to play it, right? So I like all the different things that go into it, This is a thoughtful trick-taking game, and I like that very much about it. So there you go. Not perfect. Some things I would change. Some things I would like to see improved a bit. And it can be a touch hard to internalize and really grasp and understand. But overall, if you're a fan of trick-taking games and you haven't checked this out, I definitely recommend you do. This is going to get a 7.5 out of 10 from me, which means a seal of approval. If you can get your hands on this, I would definitely say go for it, give it a try, bring over some trick-taking friends, and set this down. I think you're going to have yourself an excellent evening. So there you go, everybody. That's it for me. I am Z Garcia, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.